Ron Van Dam, living proof that there is life after 40 for retired male strippers. Shake that thing, big dog, you still got it. You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Thank you very much. That's enough.
Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Oh, they already did. Welcome to the program. It's the Ron Van Dam Show. I'm not here today. I'll be filling in for myself. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for that standing ovation. But the time for the standing is over. Please sit down. I get so embarrassed when you give me a standing ovation. And when you don't, I wonder why you're not standing. It doesn't really help me. Yes, I was a former male stripper, and I'm used to having money thrown at me, so let's get going. All right. If you feel under your chair, I left you a little gift. It's my gum. You can scrape it off later. Do you ever do that? Do you ever put stuff under your chair and then years later you discover it and you think that you are absolutely disgusting? You actually form an opinion on yourself. Hey, I'm actually disgusting. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic thing. It's like a time capsule. When you put stuff under your chair, like gum or something you've picked out of your nose or something, that is a time capsule of you. Someday someone's going to discover that stuff under the chair. And they're going to be totally grossed out because of you. All right, thanks. Oh, man. Well, what day of the week is this, by the way? I've lost count. Is this Sunday? Oh, it's Wednesday. Whoa, I was off by a half week. Ooh. Have you noticed all the days seem to be exactly the same except the name of them? It doesn't really matter anymore. This is hump day. This is the middle of the week. It's the speed bump of your work week if you're working. If you're not working, it's still your speed bump in the middle of the week. And if you live your life just waiting for the week to end every single week of your life, then you're in the category of pathetic. So change it now. You know, there's a lot of things I wanted to be in my life, and I talked about this last week on the show, and if you didn't hear the show, then you have to be penalized greatly. What I said was there were some things that I wanted to be in my lifetime, and I'll recap this very quickly. Number one, I wanted to be Pope. I thought that would have been wonderful. Don't have to get up in the morning and choose what I'm going to wear. Have a staff of people. If I want to address a crowd, I don't have to get dressed. I simply put the robe on and the funny hat, and I stand up on the balcony, and I address thousands of people. It's really, I can do it all from my bedroom. It's not a bad job. It's a lifelong job, and all you do is pontificate. I went to school for that. Pontification school. It's community college. I wanted to be that. I also wanted to be a rock and roll star, or not a star really, but I wanted to be in a rock and roll band and travel and have people of the opposite sex fall all over me for no apparent reason. That's something I wanted to be when I was younger, when I was sexually more viable. That would have been a lot of fun, but I didn't do that either. And the other thing I want to be is a motivational speaker, because it doesn't require anything but balls. You have to have balls to be a motivational speaker because you basically are not doing anything. You're gathering many, many people in a room. You stand up on a stage and you speak at them and tell them how pitiful they are in their lives, just as I did to you. You tell them how pitiful they are, and then you tell them how they can turn it around and be successful. And then you collect the money that the people paid to come in. You go home and you have a cheeseburger. I mean, it's fantastic. You don't have carpal tunnel syndrome. You don't have to lift anything. You don't have to you just stand on a stage and tell people how crappy their lives are. And everybody in the audience says, yeah, you're right. My life is really crappy. But what do I do? And you stand there and you make suggestions. And then the people leave the auditorium and they're all pumped. And then by the time they get in their cars, they forget everything. And they go back to their humdrum, crappy lives. Yet at the same time, you've collected hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's just like pickpocketing poor people. That's really what you're doing. But I thought it was an admirable position to be in, so I wanted to be a motivational speaker. I kind of do that by doing radio for 35 years, and I am only 36 years old. That's the enigma. But in doing radio for 35 years, I do pontificate, so I guess I got the Pope thing down, and I do basically stand on a stage, platform now that it's podcast. And I do change people's lives to the point where they say, my life can't be as bad as Ron's. So I do motivate. Yeah, I want to motivate people. I want to motivate them. I don't care about them. I just want to motivate them. I do want people to be somebody. I get very tired of walking around on this planet and seeing everybody, just depressed and all that. And I don't think that's nice. So I would like to motivate them to help save mankind. But at the same time, it's a money-making profit business. So I do collect their money at their worst, most depressed times. And that's the other thing I wanted to be, but I never wanted to be it really. It was a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. I don't want to write prescriptions for drugs. I think that's a nasty thing to do, although some people need it. I don't think it's right. So I want to be a psychologist and doesn't involve drugs at all, and I just sit there for an hour, and all I have to say to the troubled person sitting in the chair across from me is that cash or check or credit card. And also, the only thing I say to them, no matter what they say, the only thing I say back to them is, and how do you feel about that? 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 And how do you feel about? And how do you feel about that? I do that for an hour, and then at the end of the hour, I read off my cue card, and it says, "Well, our time is up. We'll continue this next week." It's such a simple job. And you make tons of money, and they call you doctor, which means when you go to a restaurant, you'll get a table quicker. I always want a booth. My grandfather did that. Oh, my God. My grandfather, every time we went to a restaurant, my grandfather would always say to the host or hostess, I'd like a booth, please. He loved booths. He would not eat at a table. No table. Has to be at a booth. It's got to be that cushiony booth thing. The only problem with a booth is if someone has to go to the bathroom, everybody has to slide out first. And so that the person who has to go to the bathroom can go get out of the booth. Never go to a restaurant and get a booth with somebody who has urinary problems. It's just, you have to get up constantly. It's not fun. It kind of ruins your dinner. My grandfather, what a wonderful man he was. I think he was wonderful because I didn't know him real well. Grandfathers are like, you respect them because they're older than you, but you don't really get to know them inside. You don't get to know their inner feelings and what happens behind closed doors. They're just your grandfather. It's the guy that gives you candy. You don't fuck with him because he's your grandfather. So he used to go to restaurants a lot, and he loved to go to restaurants. And what he would do, he had one annoying habit that even as a child I picked up on. It was very, very embarrassing. We'd be sitting in a booth, not in a table, at a booth, and my grandfather would not know what he wanted to choose off the menu. And he would start, his eyes would immediately dart around the room, and he would look at the next table or the next booth and see what they were eating. And if it looked good to him, he would order it. But that's not where it stopped. If he saw somebody at the next table or booth eating a plate of food and it looked appetizing, he would actually get up from the table and walk over to their table, not knowing who they were, complete strangers trying to enjoy their meals. And my grandfather would actually walk up to that strange table and say, "Excuse me, what are you eating? That looks wonderful." And, because he was a grandfather, not their grandfather, his grandfather, they would say, "Oh, that's the fried chicken. That looks very good. Well, enjoy your meal. Thank you." And my grandfather would sit down, and the waiter or waitress would come over, and my grandfather would say, "I'll have the chicken, please." He wouldn't order unless he went to another table to check out the plate. It was embarrassing. But because he was in the elderly category, it was adorable. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the only thing that's good about getting older, is you have a license to do things that you otherwise would not be able to do. Let me give you an example, if I may. I said if I may. I asked you first. Here's an example. If you go to a shopping mall, you see plenty of lovely young ladies. I'm a male, by the way, so I'm doing it from my perspective, okay? You see plenty of lovely young ladies. Now, if I walked up to any one of these strangers walking through the mall, these lovely young ladies, if I just walked up to one of them and said, "Excuse me, you're beautiful. I just want to tell you that. You're a beautiful lady. Maybe someday we can have dinner." She would call mall security. I would be handcuffed and taken away because I'm a sexual predator because I said something nice to a lovely, beautiful, sexy young lady walking through the mall. You can't do that. You're not allowed to do that. Either you'll get slapped or arrested. Now, if you're an elderly man and you're walking through the mall, slowly, of course, and you stop a beautiful young woman as an elderly man, and you say to her, "I just want to tell you," this is my elderly man voice, "I just want to tell you, you're a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful girl, very sexy, and someday I'd like to buy you dinner." Would her response be to call mall security? No. Her response is, "Oh, you're adorable. Thank you so much for saying that. I can't have dinner with you, but thank you so much for saying that I'm sexy, and you're just adorable." And you may even get a little pinch on the cheek from the girl. "Oh, you're adorable. How sweet that was for you to stop me in my tracks when I'm in the mall and to say that I'm beautiful and sexy. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir." "You're welcome. Does that mean you're not going to have dinner?" "Oh, you are so adorable." And that's the difference. You can get away with a lot of stuff. See, here's the difference for me. Since I was 20 years old, I was a crotchety old man at the age of 20. Because I've been crotchety all my life. And that doesn't mean that I have a crotch. That's not the that's not the adverb or that's not the adjective there. Crotchety has nothing to do with that. So now in my years that are beyond youth, I fit right into crotchety. I'm just because I always was fit right into it. Anyway, but I'm not old enough to get away with that mole thing. Believe me, I'm not old enough for that. Looking forward to it, but not right now. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting, man. So if you spend your life going back to the beginning of the show, when I don't even know where I started. You can't spend your whole life on hump day waiting for the weekend. There's something wrong if that's what you do. And that's my motivational speech today. You need to turn your life around, and you need to find something within you that is special, and just be happy with that. There's a certain type of person that I cannot deal with, and I do not deal with, and I actually call them out on it. People who are egotistical and braggy. People who brag are also egotistical. It goes hand in hand. It's like peanut butter and jelly. I don't like jelly, by the way. I don't like jelly. I don't like the consistency of jelly. It's just so jelly-like, you know what I mean? It's just, you got peanut butter that has this very substantial, I'll stick to the bread kind of attitude. Got the peanuts, very tasty, sugary to some extent. And then for some reason, people open up a jar of this globulous fruit and they put it on top of the peanut butter. It's like oil and water, ladies and gentlemen. Jelly does not stick to peanut butter. It just rolls right off it. And when you take a bite of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, something's going to end up on your clothes. And it ain't going to be the peanut butter. It's going to be the jelly that squirts out all over the place. I don't know who came up with this jelly thing. Mismatch. Total mismatch. I cannot believe I just said that. You work hard. You're an intelligent person. You've been to nursery school. You know what you're doing. You have scruples. And yet, I talked about peanut butter and jelly not going together in my professional estimation. And you sat there and listened to it. What does that say about you? Not much. Anyway, I'm getting very excited because, well, not that excited. I'm getting, not in that way. I'm getting excited because the leaves are about to change. And nothing's more exciting than watching leaves change colors. It's second only to watching paint dry. Oh, watching paint dry, it's fascinating. Try it sometime. Takes a little while, but it's such a trip, man. You got this paint on a wall, and then it looks wet, and then if you stare at it long enough, like for an hour, it'll start to dry. Oh, what an activity that is. Well, that's the way I feel about watching the leaves change color. Yeah. And after they change colors, they fall off the trees, and then you got leaves all over the place. Can you imagine all the leaves and all the trees in your area? They're all going to come off the tree, and you have to do something with them. Where do you put this stuff? In the closet? Where do you put these leaves? Where do they go? All right. I have an interesting guest coming up in just a few minutes. She is, she has a job that I've always wanted. She's with the Cold Stone Creamery. And they're ice cream people, but like real premium, interesting ice cream. She is a flavor expert. I know. I didn't know there was such a job. Flavor expert. Kind of background do you need for that? What do you do for a living? I'm a flavor expert. What's your background? Community college. 2 years of community college in the Flavor Institute. Wow. It's amazing. Yes, when I was a young child, 3 years old, I decided I wanted to be a flavor expert. Wow, I didn't even know there was such a thing. I did. All right. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Actually, I could take a commercial break, but I really don't want to.
You may not realize it, but we put these breaks in the middle of the Ron Van Dam show to give you a moment to stop and think about the fact that you are listening to the Ron Van Dam show, and maybe give you a couple minutes alone with your thoughts to reconsider some of your life choices, like one of those moments might be happening right now. Are you still here? Well, okay, if that's the way it's got to be. You are listening to the Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Rachel. How are you today?
Good, how are you doing?
I'm great. Rachel Davidson joins us. She's the Cold Stone Creamery flavor expert. She has the job that I always wanted. God.
It's a pretty sweet gig.
I get it. Sweet gig. Is that, were you doing a pun or was that, all right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, fine. Boy, I'm looking forward to talking about ice cream. I'll tell you that right now. What's this? What do you actually do as a flavor expert? Are you like a flavor scientist?
Something like that, yeah. So we are all about innovation and finding that perfect combination of flavors to go with our super premium ice cream.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Is there actually a science behind ice cream flavors and making the perfect ice cream?
There is a science, and at Cold Stone we really just focus on that innovation and finding those perfect combinations to hit our customers' taste buds. So we look for different trends and consumer research, and then just really knowing our customer.
Now, we do our show out of the Boston area, and I had read recently that Massachusetts is one of the states that consumes the most ice cream in the country.
Yeah, there's a lot of ice cream being consumed in the United States. So the United States actually eats more ice cream annually than any other country.
Wow. Well, I understand why. And look at the size of us.
Absolutely.
Okay. How much ice cream does a typical American actually eat?
So more than 90% of households in the United States are consuming ice cream on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So a lot of ice cream for most Americans.
Yeah. The only tip that I have is don't eat it out of the container because you'll eat the whole container.
That's what we like, and then you come back for more.
Well, I know you like that. You have a particular interest in emptying the containers, I know.
That's right.
I would assume that the most popular flavors are vanilla and chocolate, but I know with Cold Stone, it doesn't stop there.
It does not stop there. So vanilla is the most popular flavor in America,
yeah.
But our 2020 data for Cold Stone shows that cake batter is by far and large our number one best-selling flavor, followed by chocolate and French vanilla, sweet cream, and also cheesecake is at the top of the list.
Isn't it interesting that it's such a popular flavor of something that isn't baked yet? It's just the cake batter. Yeah, but we like that more than the cake. It's kind of
Exactly. I mean, think about it. When you make fresh cake, right, you've always got to lick the bowl, even though you're not supposed to.
I know. Yeah,
The
my
best
parents
part.
told me that's don't eat that. It's not baked yet, but yet it was the best part.
It absolutely is.
What about toppings and things like that?
So brownies take the cake, so to speak, at Cold Stone, followed by Oreo cookies, cookie dough, caramel and fudge.
Hey, you know, I just gained 5 pounds when you said that sentence.
That's all right.
That's right. Okay, fine. All right. Now, you know, foods change with seasons. There's pumpkin beer, that kind of stuff. Is that the same in the ice cream game?
Yeah, so we focus on some seasonal flavors at Cold Stone. In the month of October, we are going a little spooky and turning our number one selling cake batter ice cream black for the trick-or-treat season. So you can come in and get our treat or treat creation, which is that black boo batter ice cream, we call it, with M&Ms and Kit Kat and Halloween Oreo cookies.
Is the black a certain flavor?
It's cake batter. So we just, again, we know what our customers love. They love that cake batter. So we dye it black for the Halloween season.
Unbelievable. Wow. You people don't know when to stop.
There's no limit to ice cream. You can put anything in it.
Yeah, I can picture you and a bunch of other people standing over a vat wearing witches' hats and stuff and just like creating these cauldrons of flavors that come from the sky or something. It's like a very, very ominous kind of picture.
You know, it's a lot of fun.
I can imagine. Let me just get into your background a little bit, if I may get a little bit personal. How did you end up with this? I mean, did you have a fascination as a child, and when the job came up, you said, "This is what I was born to do"?
Pretty much, yeah. So I started as a crew member in a Cold Stone store back in 2001, and spent 5 years in the store, and really just had a passion for ice cream and a passion for the Cold Stone Creamery brand, and here I am 20 years later.
Wow. Is Cold Stone all over the United States?
Yes, we are. We are in almost every state in the United States.
Okay. What if there isn't one nearby, do you actually ship ice cream?
We do not ship ice cream today, but we do have delivery available or pickup in a local store.
Well, that's enough. That's better. That's better than shipping it, I suppose.
Yes.
Okay. Can you give me like a little secret of a flavor that's coming up that no one knows about yet?
Yeah, I can give you a little teaser. We do have a lot of innovative flavors coming up in the next few months and into 2022, including a plant-based frozen dessert.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
Yes. So more to come on that in a few months.
I've never heard of that before. Interesting.
You'll have to come in and try it.
Cookie dough plant-based ice cream would be interesting. You know, there are a lot of people who kind of have turned off of dairy, and they were looking for another place to go, and you've answered it. Very cool.
Yes.
Very, very cool. Is there such a thing as non-sugar ice cream or low-sugar ice cream?
We have a no sugar added ice cream in our stores. So you're going to have the sugars just from the dairy. You're going to have the natural sugar,
right? But
we have a no sugar added.
Very good. It's the the sugars that are added that usually give you the trouble. Otherwise, natural sugar is okay, I guess, or in proper quantities. I'm trying to be very healthy here.
Yes, well, you can come in and you can certainly try our Vanilla Light.
All right, cool. Well, you got a lot of options, I'll tell you that.
We try to appeal to everyone.
Yeah, and it's not just in the summer when it's hot outside. It's year-round for most places, isn't it?
It certainly is a year-round ice cream game. There's always a season for ice cream.
Wonderful. Are you doing like a maple flavored?
We do not have a maple flavor today, but who knows? We're pretty innovative over here.
Yeah, Rachel, can you throw that into the suggestion box?
We absolutely will. We are always looking for new flavor ideas, and our franchisees have an internal process where they can submit some flavor ideas, and so I will add maple to the list.
Yeah, because I went to Vermont recently, and everything has a maple leaf on it or has syrup in it, and I figured this has got to be an ice cream thing too.
Yeah, you never know with Cold Stone Creamery.
Right. Do I get a percentage of the profits if you actually do make the maple?
Yeah, you'll have to talk to someone else for that.
Okay, right. All right. That's where the job ends, right there.
That's right.
Okay. Rachel Davidson, how can people get more information about Cold Stone?
You can check out our website at coldstonecreamery.com. You can see pictures and descriptions of all of our indulgent products, and then you can also place an order right from the website for pickup or delivery at your local store.
Great. And I suggest the pumpkin cheesecake. What, you serious, Ron? Yeah, they actually do that. So give that a shot as well. Rachel, pleasure speaking to you. Well, that'll do it for me today. You've been wonderful. Thank you to the ice cream flavor expert. And I wish that I could offer you coupons to the store, but I can't, so won't. Besides, I have no way to get them to you. I don't want your address. I don't know where. I don't want to know where you live or know anything about you. Let's just keep this totally stranger-like, shall we? I don't want to know about you. You don't want to know about me. Let's have our separate lives. You go do your thing. I'll go do mine. I'll do this show. You can listen to it if you want to. Otherwise, you don't have to. Go get some ice cream. Have a sandwich. It doesn't matter to me. So until next time, which would be tomorrow most likely, I wish you peace.